Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Can You Explain to Me? Obviously with the familiar face to my channel, Leli Hernandez in the house. We're literally in her house.
Literally.
So I brought her on today because not only is this woman has over 1 million followers on her Instagram, she is on Netflix right now on El Ganador, a new, basically Nicky Jam's story.
Yeah.
And you play Nicky Jam's younger sister?
Yep. I play his sister. The show, we shot it 2 years ago, but it came out finally in the US, which we've been like anticipating because it had came out about a year ago everywhere like overseas, but then now finally everyone in the US and in Puerto Rico, because no one was able to watch it there either. So now finally people get to watch it.
And how has the reaction been so far? Are people like even more excited?
You know what's crazy? I've gotten better reaction and more now, which makes me feel that I have more fans in the US. Or I don't know, maybe also the timing of it too, because everyone's home and we don't really have a choice. So
and what to binge watch?
Yeah, and it's like even I don't even know what to binge watch anymore. Like, they've done really well. Like every time I go on Netflix, it's trending.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it must be doing really good and people are, watching. So that's pretty good. Also, I think it's like Spanish series are in.
I was about to ask you that, yeah. Why do you feel about Spanish series becoming a trend now in the US? That's kind of a big deal for Latinos.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty dope. I think that there's talent all around. And I mean, we grew up watching like soap operas and like stuff like that. So it's different. But I think that it's really dope because these Spanish series are really like done almost like English series, except just in a different language.
I wanted to ask you, have you rewatched it again since it came out now in the US or what?
I have. You know what's crazy? I watched it again and there's things that I didn't notice that were like part of it. And I was like, I don't even remember this. Even scenes that I did, I was like, I don't even remember this scene. And it's so crazy because I watched it last year, but I remember that when I watched it, I was in Guatemala for like a couple days doing promo for the show, and I only had like 3 days to watch the whole thing. So I guess because I was in a rush to watch it, I kind of skimmed through it.
Yeah,
I wasn't really watching, I was like, and I knew the story because obviously I had already read the script and like I had already seen so much of it that like I think the first time I watched it, I skimmed through it. That now when I sat down and I actually like analyzed things, I was like, oh wow. And what's crazy too, I met some other actors after we did the show. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know they were in the show. And now when I watched it, I was like, oh, you were that guy. You don't always get to meet every cast member.
No, you don't, yeah.
And it's weird because like when we were shooting a lot of these scenes, it was all out of order. Actually, the last scene I shot was the first scene that came out, which was the slap, which was like the one that was like the bigger scene.
The infamous one. I feel like everyone loves to post that one.
I think that's the one that most people like to post. One, because it's the first time I come out.
Okay.
And the second reason is because it's like the most like impactful thing, because it's like a man hitting and to top it off, I look like a little girl.
Yeah. What was like the most surprising thing about Nicky Jam's story? Like once you found out that you were going to be a part of this project?
I think honestly, it was like the relationship with his mom. Okay. I think for me that was very tough because like I have a really strong relationship with my mom, obviously. And I could only imagine having to deal with that. Like I could only imagine, and honestly to me it was actually very inspiring because I thought, damn, like you had so many like downfalls and so many things that you went through, and yet you're this amazing artist now. The world loves you regardless of your story or not, because a lot of people didn't know, Yeah. And I think that's really dope because it doesn't matter, like teaches us a lesson. Like it doesn't matter how many times we fail at something, we could always get back up and like do it again, and like if you're destined to do something, it's like if you keep trying, you eventually will end up doing what you love and what you want. And I think to me it was like a big lesson for me too, because like I'm not saying I failed at a lot of things, but I love trying new things, And
right.
for me it's like it's challenging because when you're trying new things, you don't always get results right away, and then you're like you want people to like you and you want to be good at it right away, but it usually doesn't happen like that.
This quarantine, this whole COVID-19 literally made everyone like stop what you're doing, because you're someone that's been like super busy all of last year, and like the previous year you were like nonstop going like from coast to coast to Mexico to Puerto Rico. Like this girl was everywhere, and then like ultimately hitting like a very big milestone like in a lot of different parts of your career. Like you did your acting stuff, and then also on social media, which I know is not your main focus anymore, but like you hit 1 million followers. Like what did that mean for you once you finally made that benchmark?
Honestly, like that meant a lot, and I remember I celebrated it and was so happy when I reached 1 million, and I was like, and I mean I wanted it so bad for so long. I wanted to get to 1 million, and it was like literally, it's so crazy because when you put yourself a goal, you will literally reach it. It's like the weirdest thing. And the reason why I say that now is because since my goal right now is not to continue to grow on Instagram, it literally has stayed not the same because it still grows here and there, you know, it fluctuates. But in a way, it's like I don't care anymore. Like if it grows, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because for me, like my goal was to reach 1 million. Honestly, it felt great because for me, it's like, wow, I throughout different content, literally comedy, dancing, talking, motivational speeches, whatever it is, I knew that it was like a mixture of like so many things and so many jobs, and it was almost like I reached a point where like, wow, I have reached this many people. Like it wasn't that I just reached 1 million, it was just a number, but it's like 1 million people are watching me. Maybe not day to day because not everyone is like, you know, on top of it. But there's 1 million people interested in what I'm doing and interested in following my journey. And I think that's pretty dope because at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to be like, who am I? But it's like, who am I to get 1 million followers, you know, for people to follow me and like really be interested in what I'm doing and what I talk about and my experiences. And I think that like, to me, it's something really special because at the end of the day, like, when I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, it wasn't just to be like famous or to be like an actor or be a singer or be a performer or whatever it was. It was more of like, I wanted to be like the older sister that someone like turns to, you know? Like I wanted to be that. And I honestly, it sucks because then we get busy and then we get distracted and there's other goals we want and we
life
forget.
gets in the way.
Yeah, and we forget. And then also it's so crazy because as we get older, we also build even more insecurities. And because I remember being little and not caring, you know?
We're fearless.
Yeah, it's like it didn't matter what anybody thought. It didn't matter anything. Like we just did it because that was us and that's it. Now, obviously, as we get older, we get judged a little bit more. We get insecure about saying certain things or we don't want to speak about certain things because maybe the person we like or the friends that we have or whatever it is.
They're watching.
Yeah, so then we like get more like, we hold in a little bit what we want to say, what we want to do, only because we have so many eyeballs on us, you know? Now I feel like I have a really big responsibility. Like I have 1 million different types of people following me. If you think about it, like I have kids, but then I have like doctors, I have lawyers, or I have managers, or I have directors, or I have regular people, you know, or like it's really hard because I have
to now. But they're all part of you.
They're all a part of me, but it's also really hard and a lot of pressure because now I have to know what I'm going to say, who am I entertaining, who am I like attracting, you know? So it's a little hard because I have to also watch what I'm saying, like who is looking up to me, who's gonna, you know, it's like a lot.
So that kind of leads me to like my main question of this, and this is gonna surprise you that I'm even asking this, but it's not just for me, it's for everyone else out there.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how the name influencer has changed since you started in social media to what it is today? Like, how would you describe or explain what an influencer is?
Well, look, honestly, when I started and I was an influencer, I hated the word. I honestly hated the word because for me, it was like, I just didn't like that they belittled the word.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, just like there's good influencers, there's bad influencers. And what I'm trying to say is there's good influence in the world and there's bad influence in the world, right? And for me, I just felt an influencer should influence you to do something. Right? And to me, I know that as an influencer, from the moment I was starting on social media, I didn't see it as I want to be an influencer because I didn't even understand what that was. You know, for me, it was like I knew that I wanted to be the voice that I needed. I wanted to be that voice that someone saw and was like, damn, she's right. I want to do that because she's right. I remember that a lot of the times I would rant about, which, you know, sometimes we forget because now I'm not saying I don't live the normal life, but I don't have a normal 9 to 5. I don't have a normal job. But I remember when I was working as an assistant and I was working here as a PA and I was driving back and forth and doing all these 1 million jobs to be able to support myself at the time. At that moment, I didn't have that many followers. I had maybe 15,000 or something. But I still felt like I wanted to speak on it. And I remember I would go on these rants that I know it would influence people because what I was ranting about was it doesn't matter at what position you are in your life. It doesn't matter what kind of job you are in your life, if you are where you want to be or where you're not. Yeah. But to see everything as an experience that will lead you to where you want to be. Yeah. And I knew that when I was saying that, I knew so many, not only would people write to me, but I already knew, I felt that I was helping people by this because I was helping myself. And I'm like, I didn't even think about this.
You're speaking from the heart.
And I just speak from the heart. I speak from what I feel and what I think and what I would tell a little me, you know, or my little cousins or my little sister or something, you know. So I feel like, damn, I feel like someone needs to hear this. And what's crazy is that at the end of the day, most of the time, even now, I'm the one that needs to hear it. Mm-hmm. So I think that as an influencer, I think that at the end of the day, if you have any type of platform, we're all in some way an influencer.
Yeah.
Because your journey, your experiences is a lesson, is a guide for someone else.
But Leli, thank you so much for explaining to the world and to me too. It's nice to hear your POV because you really have been in this game for a minute now and have done an amazing job at like touching so many people's hearts. So thank you much for coming on to Can You Explain to Me? And let's see what the future has for you.